Welcome to the Engineering Emotions and Energy Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Wink. Today, going to be talking about a very important topic in helping you reduce your stress, increase your energy levels, and be able to live more from your heart, which is what we like to do on this show. The topic of this show is relationships. And usually it's all about, well, how do I find the right relationship? How do I make my relationship better? This is a little bit like that, except we're focusing on when a relationship has run its course and it is time to exit that relationship. It's no longer working out the way that maybe you'd intended. You're just no longer happy. You've tried, and it's time to just move along and go your separate ways and, create the space. And I feel this is like a really important time. When I'm recording this, it's springtime, time of new life, coming out of a very, very tough winter, of 2020. And so there's likely a lot of relationships that maybe been in way longer than you ever would have thought you'd needed to, because there's all that fear and all that stuckness, in career and in personal relationships where you're told, don't even leave the house, stay in your little bubble. If you go outside of your bubble, bad things are going to happen. And so this is really the time where we're starting to see the sunshine, starting to see the light of day, and thinking wait a minute, what really works for me? And you might be looking around and going some of these relationships, some of these friendships, some of these romances, some of these business work relationships, I don't think this is working the way I wanted it to work. And I've been experiencing this for sure in my own life, where I've run across some relationships where I've had to go, hey, I don't think this is working out, and even though this is something that I've have a lot of experience in, it's a challenge each and every time. Yet whenever we go through it, we grow from it, we get much better. So where I come from in this is before I met my wife, when I was single, it's probably for a year or two, I had decided I was tired of settling for just any relationship. That I wanted a really great relationship. I wanted to find someone that lit me up, matched with me really well, and I wanted to enjoy the process. And so I got really good at dating. And part of being really good at dating is, one, creating connection, getting to know somebody so you know if they're a good fit, and then when not, rolling that back and making it no longer a romantic relationship. And I've learned through the practice and through study, and I'm going to share a lot of these tips with you today. And these things, these worked in my personal dating history, but I've also found them to work with friendships and also in business as well. And so I'm going to share these points to you so that you can, as you're going along, making sure that you have the types of relationships that are helping you grow, help you be happy, help you be satisfied, and that are correspondingly offering the same to all those people in your life. Because often we think I got to sacrifice for this other person, which is, why should in any relationship, why should somebody be, there's all going to be things that we want to do or don't want to do, and we do stuff, but ultimately we should feel it's a treasure, it's a gift to be in this situation more often than not. Things are going to come up, things are going to happen, but it's, is it workable? And more you're feeling like you're getting the best end of the bargain. You want to be giving, but you always want to feel like you're still, receiving, that it's a mutually beneficial relationship, that it's symbiotic and not, sometimes relationships can start to feel parasitic, you got a parasite in your life. And so this is a follow-up from previous podcast episode where I was talking about, the squirrel's gone wild, and we're focusing today on, how to get that squirrel equivalent of a person who has gotten into your house, gotten into your life, and it's running amok. How do you get out? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to go over, I got six main points, and I'll run through them for you. So the first is, you want to know why you're in the relationship. You want to understand why the other person's in the relationship. What are they trying to get out of it? Then you want to make sure that it's communicated and understood why you're both in the relationship. then you gotta, as the relationship is progressing, you need to be aware of, is this relationship still the same structure? Are you both sort of fulfilling, the roles that you agreed to get the whys of why you're in the relationship? And if things change, things change. Totally fine. We don't want to be static. Like, if things didn't change, you would still, be getting carried around by your mom, tucked in. She'd be changing your diapers, right? But things change. I hope, right? I hope nobody here is having their mom changing their diapers. I mean, if you got some health issue or whatever, like, but that's fine. So notice changes to the relationship. Then you want to, once you notice that something's changed, you either want to remind what the original whys were and see if we can get back to that, or it's time to maybe renegotiate the relationship and like, well, okay, well, what do you want? What do I want? And then if there's no mutual coming to hey, we agree on why we want to be in a relationship together, it's time to honestly, kindly, and firmly leave the relationship. So to start with, why do you want to be in this relationship? So some very common reasons why you might want to be in, a business relationship is, you want money, but then you also want like intellectual stimulation, maybe recognition. There's a lot of reasons why you might take any job, and any, friendship, family, romantic endeavor. That it's like maybe you want support. You want someone that can listen to you, or you want someone who can have an emotional connection and open to you. And if you have some problems, you can share, and they can share, and you feel secure about that, and that you're not going to be judged or criticized for just being who you are. Or maybe there's you've got kids, or there's obligations that way, or there's a financial thing, because a big part of a marriage, it's a financial contract, right? That you're sharing finances, and that there's can be shared benefits through work and things like that. So there's what is it, and then there's also the sexual component. Like, is the sexual intimacy, is that an important part of it as well in a romantic relationship? So there's what do you want in this relationship? And so really you want to understand that, and then you want to know what they want out of it. What are they looking in this relationship from you, and seeing like, well, okay, what is shared? Is it we want to, basically be doing business together? Whether, this is a work relationship, then that's great. But then also there could be a component, a romantic relationship. There's a business aspect that you want to, partner to do a business that, helps the world, but maybe someone's like, hey, I want to do a business partnership with you, but I don't want to hear about your problems or your day-to-day, whatever. So you want to communicate what you want, and then you want to make sure you understand, and then make sure this is clearly communicated, and that you want to make sure that they're getting what they want out of the relationship. And you also want this relationship to be the best fit for both of you, because you're looking to fulfill, for yourself and for the other person. And just kind of remind that, hey, this sounds good. This is good, that you're like all in agreement, that, yeah, we understand each other. I feel good. You feel good. And we want to keep this going. And if not, then that's okay. Maybe just, we've grown in different ways, or we've decided different things, or I've changed or you changed. And you might be like, and so this is something, when you're starting a relationship, this is the best time. Because I found in my experience, whenever I started a relationship this way, in any way, business, personal, whatever, that then when things changed, which, is the next part, is to be aware of how is this relationship functioning in practice, right? Because sometimes we'll say one thing, but then we might start behaving in another way. And I've seen this happen lots of times, where people they think like, well, I told her once I don't want a serious relationship. Why is she so upset that I'm dating other women? And it's because just because you say something once doesn't mean that if you behave a different way, it's not going to get confused. So if you behave like you're like, in a committed monogamous relationship with someone for a long enough time, even though you told them and you never verbally said it, they are going to come to expect that the relationship is in the way that you have been behaving if you have not been verbally reminding that, hey, this is, we're just dating. This is just casual. I will be dating other people, or if, we're talking business, like, hey, I'm doing work for you, but I'm also going to be doing work for someone else. Like I'm a 1099, I'm an independent contractor. So just because, I'm doing a lot of work for you doesn't mean that sometime I might be a little busy because I got to do some freelance work for one of my other clients. And so you want to, periodically remind, and this is a well-established fact of human behavior, so much so that it comes up in the legal system as well. So, for example, like if you trademark something and you don't go and defend that trademark and say, like, one, you don't use it, you don't put trademark, on your trademarked item, and you don't, remind. And then if somebody else starts to use your trademark, if you don't go tell them, hey, knock it off, if you just let them do it, then in the eyes of the law, they're like, well, you didn't seem like you cared about that, so you don't have any trademark claims anymore. Sorry, bye-bye. You don't get that. So if something is important to you, you have to be aware of that and over communicate what is important to you. So feeling overwhelmed by the daily grind? Imagine if you could pause, reset, and truly connect with a calmer, more fulfilled you. It's not just a dream, it's absolutely possible. Hi, I'm Justin, and I invite you to discover the life-changing techniques in my book, Engineered to Love. Right now, I'm offering a free chapter complete with guided audios that have already helped so many people find peace amidst the chaos. These aren't just any techniques. They're transformative practices designed to help you love yourself and engage deeply with the present moment without even having to close your eyes to the world around you. So join us at engineeredtolove.com/sample and access your free guided session. It's time to bust the busyness and embrace the joy, ease, and love in your everyday life. Don't wait. Start your journey to a more relaxed and recharged you today, because you deserve to live a life you love. Visit engineeredtolove.com/sample. See you there. This can happen pretty often where things start to change. Like recently, I ended up in a situation where had I'm just gonna get that had someone in a living situation. I'm gonna use Family Guy names here, Meg. And they had agreements, in the lease and whatnot. And I'm probably gonna. This is one of those things where I'll probably get shit from this if someone that actually knows me personally hears this and like, oh, Justin was talking shit about Meg or whatever like that, and that's fine, whatever. But I don't think they listen. So it's okay. But if you know someone who knows someone, like, don't be that asshole that's just like, hey, did you hear what Justin said on his podcast about you? Like, just let them, keep it to yourself. You have the experience of the podcast. Share with me, share with other listeners. Actually, share this podcast with as many people as you can. Help support the show. But like, don't go talking shit. Like, this is not cool, man. So anyway, so I got a house with extra space, and so like to rent it out. And so Meg needed a place to stay. We offered up, and things pretty good, pretty friendly, because it was pretty friendly with Meg. And then what I didn't notice was that the nature of the relationship, this landlord tenant, and sort of casual friendship, it started to shift, and I wasn't aware, and I wasn't sort of being really on top of sort of making sure that the boundaries of, how I wanted, my household and stuff to happen, where there's just things like, how space is utilized and how things are cared for, and, what happens at certain times and things like that. I allowed to get away, and so I waited too long. And, so effectively it went from almost like a, just kind of a casual friend and landlord tenant to becoming, what I later learned was that there was almost like well, I'm part of, this person became part of the family, was how, and that was not something that I had agreed on, because that was something that I was looking for, and so attempted to sort of like, well, renegotiate that, hey, we have these landlord tenant things. And then, here's sort of some other expectations of, friendliness. And I don't know if, families where I want to be with this type of a thing. So attempted to, renegotiate and, get the relationship back in line. And, tried that out for a couple months. So you always want to, if you want to have the discussion. So again, it's always best before the relationship gets to a point. But you can always, when you finally do become aware that like, hey, things are not how I would like them to be, and that I'm not getting out of this what I want, that's the time to go, hey, what is it you're looking for here? Here's what I'm looking for here. Are we in sync? Can we get back to this? And then, you'll ideally get back to it. Yeah, well, we're good. We're good. And the thing is, people say what people say. What's more important is, what do people do? So look at people's actions. Also look at your own actions, because, from your own actions, you'll actually really know what you really value in your life and what you don't value. Like, you can say you value your health all day long, but if, you're stopping at McDonald's and, getting 20-piece chicken McNuggets with the sauce there, and then a milkshake and whatever. And, the last time you saw a gym, it was actually a Jim Fortin video. It wasn't even a place to work out. You don't value your health, period. End of story. You don't value your health. And someone might say like, yep, I totally, I respect you. And, I understand that these are the things that you need me to do. This is how you want me to respect the house. They can say that all day long, but then when they just start doing what they want to do and putting their stuff everywhere and, just, behaving how they'd like to behave, then, you know how they stand. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, right? So now it's time to exit the relationship, because you might want it to work, they might want to work, but sometimes just it doesn't work, because just you're at two different places, right? Kind of like I played football in junior high. And I was pretty good. I was a lineman. They had a weight limit. I think it was like 150 pounds, 160 pounds. And, as an adult, 40-year-old, my weight is around, so it hovers around 165 pounds, plus or minus a few. And so, when I was 12, 13, I was probably only about 130, 140. But so I could rumble in lineman, and someone's got only 20 pounds. Flash forward, the next year into high school, and there's no weight limit anymore. I'm trying to be a lineman, but somebody, can literally have 150 pounds on me, double my size. Like, it's just not gonna work. Like, we grew in different ways. There's no good, there's no bad. It's just, we grew in different ways. The sport of football with me as a lineman just was not meant to be. So it was time for me to exit playing football. And relationships can be very similar, where it's just not working out for where either party is at anymore. And when you've had the discussions of, that you want the best fit, you want things to be beneficial, that you want that person's happiness, you want your happiness, and you have that deep understanding that if you're not happy, you're not going to be able to allow the other person to be happy, as well as you could or should, that you're, because let's face it, if we're not getting our needs met in a relationship, that's sort of where, some sadness, some frustration, anger, these emotions that do not allow us to bring our best, for our own lives and for the lives of others, right? It's very much, the airplane, put on your own mask before you go to help somebody else put theirs on. Like if you're not being able to take care of your happiness, you're not going to be able to be there for that other person when they need it. And that's really not fair to them, right? I liken it to this because a lot of people, they have a hard time with the exiting because they're like, I'm going to hurt this person. And well, no, you do not have, you like to think that you're all that powerful, that you can hurt somebody or you can help somebody. But the truth is you're not that powerful. You don't have that control over somebody as much as you might like. Because our feelings, it's a personal choice, 100%. Now, again, it might not seem like it because all of that, we're using the choices of interpretations and stories around stuff that have been given to us by our friends, our family, our culture. So, something's going to happen and we're going to have an emotional response. Yet, if you've been listening to this show and keep listening, it's one of the things that we're working on here that's why it's called the Engineering Energy and Emotions podcast, is because you can engineer your emotions and your energy levels. So it's a choice. When something happens, you have a choice of how you are going to allow it to affect you. And you have that choice and the other person has that choice. So you are going to take an action and that other person they totally have the option of taking it like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said it. Thank you. Yes, I'd been noticing that some things just were not working anymore. And I'm so glad that you respected me to bring this to my attention. And I think you've got some good points. Just, we are not a good match anymore. Thank you for allowing, I knew that I was going to have to do it, but so thank you for helping kick this off, and let's figure out how we can, best support each other on this transition. Or they might go, fuck you, you asshole. How dare you do this to me? Like, we had a thing going, like I can't believe you would do this to me. You're an awful piece of shit. Fuck you. It can go either way or somewhere in between. The point is, that's their choice. And again, all of these emotions, all of these things, they're temporary. Well, they're as temporary as, again, the other person allows it. And some people could hold it for their lifetime. That's their business. If they want to, be swallowing the poison of resentment for their entire lifetime, that's not your choice. Really, you are allowing them to find someone who can be that better partner for that better happiness, right? Because, like, let me break it down with a little example here. So, going back to, let's use, Family Guy names here. So if I was to say, Brian was the dog who would sit weird and stuff. So if I was to say to you, now, Brian, I know exactly what your purpose in life is. And I know exactly what you can do that will give you fulfillment in all aspects of your human existence here on this planet, and that will work out perfectly for you. I know how you can have the financial abundance, the relationships, the spiritual growth, the impact on the world. I know all of these things, and I can share it with you if only Stewie allows. And then go to Stewie, and it's like, Stewie, can I tell Brian these secrets? You guys might not be able to hang out in the same way, though. And Stewie's just like, oh my, this is a little uncomfortable. No, I'd rather just have things the way. And Stewie doesn't let you have your life's purpose, your ultimate goal. You would think Stewie is a complete dick. That is just completely rude, right? That Stewie is preventing you from, finding your ultimate happiness, your ultimate purpose, and doing what you were born to do on this planet, all because Stewie feels a little uncomfortable. Now, when you're the one that realizes that the relationship isn't working and you don't want to end it, you are the Stewie. You are being a total asshole. You are being selfish because you're like, it's going to be a little uncomfortable for a little while. So what? You're going to like keep this person in this state of discomfort in this relationship that you know is not working. You're going to prevent them from having the opportunity to reach their peak of, human experience just because it could be a little uncomfortable. Like, that's mean. That's rude. That's not cool. Like, so often we think that we're helping other people out, but really we're helping ourselves. We're just trying to avoid the discomfort. And the more we can kind of lean into the discomfort and recognize that it's part of the growth, that, there's always a little, like being born is it's a growth, but like, what, you're going to stay in the womb your entire life? Like, you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff. So you go through the pain of being born, you go through the pain of learning how to walk, which requires falling over, skinning the knee, but then you do it and then you don't skin your knee again. And then now you start running. So it's part of life, my friends, part of life. So don't be a Stewie. Just, let people do their thing. And again, it's all temporary. And so, the why of what you wanted out of the relationship for yourself and for the other person. And you realize that that's just not happening. And so just remind the person honestly, like, hey, this doesn't seem like the best fit anymore. I think it's time, we end things, because I want you to be happy. I want me to be happy. And I remember you wanted this, I wanted that, and just isn't happening. So I think it's time to end it. And often there will be some pushback, right? It could be gentle, could be not so gentle. Just firmly repeat, like, yeah, I understand. I totally get where you're coming from. Just, I feel this has to end. I thank you. And just repeat that as much as necessary. Usually it doesn't take more than a few rounds. Don't go making something up that isn't true. Like, oh, well, I just don't want to do this type of work anymore. Or, oh, I just want to be single. I don't want to be in a relationship. 'Cause really, you might think you're helping the other person out, but you're harming your own integrity, and that's going to harm any possible future relationship with them, right? Because if you say like, hey, look, I just don't want a serious relationship, and then like 3 months later you're engaged to be married, like that, you're not a trustworthy person anymore to this individual you were just breaking up with, right? So they're like, even if you could have had a good friendship with this person, right? Because again, just because you end one type of relationship doesn't mean you can't start another, right? Like, just because the business end didn't work out, now you could be friends. Or if you were romantic related, maybe you guys become really good business associates for some reason, right? All these, transformations in relationships are possible when we can exit a relationship with skill and with finesse and with ease, and coming from a place of, love and kindness, that you're not doing it to hurt the other person. You're doing it so that you can both grow in the way that you're meant to do, once you realize that, like, you're not on the path of growth and emotional support that you wanted to be on. So that's, I think, all I got for this show. So again, let me recap. Here's the process. And again, if you're like, you feel like the relationship's like already at the end, you can start this process and, be patient, be kind, give the other person a chance, communicate these things in as soft and as kind a way as possible. But, you got to know why you're in the relationship. Because if you don't know, it's going to be really hard to know when it's time to leave. But if you know why you got into the relationship, or why you're in the relationship, or what it needs to be for you, for it to be a healthy, successful relationship, then that's going to be great. That's going to make it really harder. It's going to make it easier for you to make a decision on whether this continues or how it continues. And the other thing is, what is the success criteria of a relationship? Like, we have this thing that, like, well, a successful relationship is one that goes till you die. What the hell is that? That is like messed up, man. That, like, it's only successful if you die in it. Like, so just, like, on my dad's side, my grandparents, they died in a car crash, from a drunk driver together. So was that the pinnacle of a successful relationship because they died at the same time in a car crash? Like that's ridiculous. To me, the relationship is successful if both people are allowed to flourish and grow in the way they were meant to be, as quickly and loving a way as possible. That's successful. And, when it's no longer serving that purpose and ends, that was still a successful relationship. So it's not about the amount of time. It's about the quality and about the growth and about the love and the emotional experience that everyone got out of it. So you want to know what that is for you, and you want to know what that is for the other person. And then you want to communicate that you have that understanding and that there's an agreement, so that it's known, it's consensual, that there's no misunderstandings or somebody forcing something on somebody else. Like, if you just want to have a friendship and the other person wants a romantic relationship, like, you shouldn't just put up with that, right? Like, it should be agreed on. The type of relationship should be discussed, agreed on, and be very consensual and upfront. And once you do, be aware. You got to pay attention. You got to take the temperature, right? You got to see we agreed that we were going to keep this hot tub at 104, but all of a sudden, if it ends up being 82 degrees, it's not a hot tub anymore. And maybe you don't want a hot tub anymore. That's cool. Just, talk about it, renegotiate it. But if, you want the hot tub and the other person wants the swimming pool, it's probably time to go do your swimming somewhere else, right? So then you just remind that, hey, I get you want a swimming pool. I want a hot tub. I'm going to go take my swimsuit elsewhere. Well, my gosh, you're awful. You're awful. Yep, I understand. You want me to swim in your pool. I'm just a hot tub person. I gotta go soak in a hot tub. So I appreciate it. If I know of anybody that wants to swim in your pool, you're an amazing person. You got an amazing pool. I'm gonna, anything I can do to help. I just got to go find a hot tub. So, right. It's really not that big a deal. It doesn't have to be unless we make it, because we have choices of how we interpret these things, what thoughts we have about it, what emotions we have, and other people do too. And allow other people the dignity of having their experience and having the ability to learn and grow and have their experiences, because their life is their life, your life is your life, my life is my life. And this is the Engineering Emotions and Energy Podcast. If you have any complaints, send it to podcast@justinwink.com. If you love this show, please subscribe, rate it 5 stars, tell people how great it is, share it, let people know, let them know your favorite episode. Find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Justin Wink, WENCK. Subscribe to my newsletter at justinwink.com. Also on Instagram, justin.wink.phd. Find me on LinkedIn. Come on, connect. Let me know what you'd like to hear. How does this land? Is there a relationship that you're like, it's time to exit? Let me know. Maybe, I can give some tips, tricks. I've got a lot of experience on this. So, really been fun hanging, chatting. This is our time where we get to, have our relationship, and we get to grow, and we get to cultivate the love. And it's very nice. So, I got a lot more great topics to come, so you're not going to want to miss it. So subscribe and have a good day.